Hello, welcome to IME 315, Spring Quarter 2023. My name is Dan Franchi and I'm going to be the instructor for this class. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. I'll be posting weekly, at least weekly updates covering topics in this class. My email address is dfranchi@calpoly.edu. The syllabus is available in Canvas. I'm going to have two scheduled office hours during the week. The first one is on Mondays from 2 to 3 p.m. Building 4, that's Engineering Building Room 237. I also will have a virtual office hour on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. This coming Friday, the 7th of April, which is Good Friday, I'm actually going to be traveling, so I'm going to make an announcement on Canvas, but my office hour this week, my second office hour, the virtual one, will be on Thursday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. I also will schedule office hours by appointment. You're welcome to, my preference is that you text me. This is my cell phone number. And if you text me, I will be happy to set up an office hour at a meeting time at a mutually convenient time for us. If you ask students that have had me before, I try to be pretty accommodating. I can just open up the Zoom link and we can answer questions quickly. This is my office hour Zoom ID. So if we ever have to get together, this is what you'll click. Again, it's posted in Canvas. As a personal background, I've got a degree from Cal Poly in industrial engineering. I've got a couple master's degrees from USC. One in industrial engineering, and I have an MBA in quantitative finance. I worked for Union 76 for about almost 30 years. I ended up running the finance department at Union Oil, but I did an awful lot of work in operations. Currently, I have a small farm up in the Paso Robles area, and I also manage the operations of 2 small oil fields. I'm also doing a small startup with a bioplastics company, so you can say I've been converted. I really am looking at making plastics out of renewable resources such as hemp and cornstarch. So I'm working on that in the background as well. I'm only on campus on Mondays, and that's why I have virtual office hours on Friday or by appointment. So if you want to get together with me on Mondays, again, my office hour 2 to 3. Sometimes I've got a class at noon. Sometimes I can make it up. I live in Southern California primarily, but I'm up in Paso an awful lot. So sometimes coming up from Southern California, I'll be early and more than happy to get together with you. This course is a combination of 2 things. One of them is understanding financial statements. So let's skip the first 2 lines here. And we're engineers, we're not accountants, but the goal here is to make you understand and give you enough knowledge of financial statements to be conversant when you get into industry. And then the second portion of this, which is more accounting related, is to fully allocate costs, understand the different types of costs and how they're used in industry. And so the first 2 weeks of the class will be covering these 2 things, and I don't want you to get too bored, depressed, if you will. It's not super engineering stuff. It's stuff that you will need to know when you get into industry. It's going to make you more competitive with your peers. Now, the balance of the course, the last 8 weeks, is going to be understanding project analysis. And we can be the greatest engineers in the world, but if our projects don't make financial sense, they'll never get off the ground. And so I'm going to take you through techniques and tools that for the justification of projects. And it's going to start with the basic fundamentals. It may seem a little bit basic. I'm going to take you through the tax calculation. And again, you're not accountants, but projects are justified after taxes are included. And so what we want to do here, the objectives, is we want you to have just a working knowledge, not a, when I say working, I mean just a conversant knowledge, not the ability to do the work of financial statements, costs, and budgeting. And then understand the time value of money, why a dollar today is worth more than a dollar in a year, and perform economic evaluations of investments, and ultimately prepare you for the FE EIT exam as it covers engineering economics. Along the way, a lot of these techniques can be used in your personal life. And so I'm going to bring out examples to demonstrate how they're used from a personal perspective and why it's important to you. Things like how to calculate a monthly loan, a monthly payment of a loan for a car or a home, things like that. And so a lot of teachers will probably say this, a lot of professors, that this is the most important class that you'll ever have. I wouldn't say it's the most important class that you'll ever have, but I would say that of all the classes that I took, I've used probably this type of information the most in industry, because it doesn't matter where you're working, what you're doing, projects need to be justified economically. Now the textbook, bottom line on the textbook, it's not required. I have this textbook. It's written by Noonan et al., Engineering Economic Analysis. That's what's there for the 12th, 13th, and 14th edition. I just want to emphasize that it's nice to have a reference book. Now there's probably 15 or 20 different types of engineering economics textbooks that you can pick up fairly inexpensively. I like this one. I'm going to pattern weeks 3 through 10 from the examples in this textbook, but it's not required. Now, the 12th, 13th, and 14th editions are substantially the same, except for the chapters on taxes and depreciation. And so as presidential administrations change, tax requirements change, and that's I would say that's 95% or more of the difference among these three editions. So the formulas have been the same for the last however long this has been done, 100 years perhaps. So these textbooks will differ a little bit because maybe there's better Excel examples in the 13th edition than the 12th, and certainly better in the 14th edition than the 12th. But if you can pick up a copy of the 12th edition for 10 bucks on eBay or Amazon, it's probably going to be all you'll ever need. I'm going to show you the techniques, and then you can refer to them in Excel that you're going to need. The tax situation, the 14th edition is current through the Trump administration. Nothing has substantially changed in the Biden administration, but I anticipate things will be changing, and there'll be a 15th edition. And so I don't think there's any reason to spend big bucks to get the 14th edition. If you find it cheap, that's great. If you don't want to do anything at all, that's fine as well. I'm going to post my notes each week for each lesson prior to the week, and you can refer to those notes. Many, if not most, students find that sufficient to do well in the class. Grading. We basically, my idea here is this is an asynchronous class. You're going to be doing work on your own. The exams are 40% of your grade. So 60% of your grade is in your hands. And that's the homework. There's going to be 9 homework assignments. I'm going to assign them. This isn't necessarily clear. It's Monday following the week assigned. So by Sunday, that's like today, or the first day of the week, I will have an assignment posted on Canvas. It will be due the following Monday. That'll be fairly clear. The first 2 assignments, the first one is more like a research to get you familiar with looking at financial statements, but after that they're going to be relatively rigorous. That's 30% of the grade. 10% of the grade is a personal response question. So I'm going to ask you a question somewhat regarding what you're learning in the class and how you feel about it. That is a very subjective answer. What I'm looking for is a well-written response that's well thought out. As you get into industry, your ability to write is going to become very important. So there's not necessarily a right answer. I just want to make sure that it's a thoughtful response. It's not a novel. It's going to be hopefully less than a page, but there's going to be a question, and I just want your response well thought through in a paragraph or two. I'm going to have a project. I'm going to assign the project on the 6th week, and then each week I'll have a little discussion as to what's going on in the project. It's going to be a project justification, and the idea is I can't give it to you too early because there's techniques you're going to be learning later on in the quarter that are going to be necessary. So I would say that I wouldn't panic about anything, but each week I will give you an update. Now my goal here is that everybody gets the same answer on this project, and so I'm going to be taking you through my solution on the project, but I'm going to be delivering a rubric as to how this project is going to be graded, and the analysis is probably only going to be about 25 to 30% of the grade, and the written report is going to be a significant portion of the grade, so it needs to be well written. The reason being, as you get into industry, everybody's smart. Everybody can do all this technical work. How are you going to separate yourself from your peers? The ability to speak and the ability to write. The 2 exams, there's going to be one the 5th week, end of the 5th week. That's May 4th and 5th. I haven't exactly determined how I'm going to deliver it, but it's highly likely I'll just send out an email with the exam attached to it. And then the final exam, I'm going to have this due the 1st or 2nd day. You're going to have plenty of time to access it when I set it up, of finals week. So finals week is a little bit late this quarter. So that's the grading system. Again, if I feel like I need to curve the grades, I will. I'll let you know. I typically don't need to, especially since there's so much of the grade that is directly in your hands. And so again, this is the schedule. There's going to be one homework assignment due each week, beginning with the 2nd week. So this first homework assignment is going to be due April 10th, 17th, 24th, May 1st, etc. And this is the general concept of the topics. Because this is an asynchronous class, it's highly likely I'll be very close to this schedule. So I'm not going to vary too much because I can just make my recorded lectures a little bit easier a little bit longer, I'm sorry. So this is what you're going to do when you're going to Canvas, and I'm going to pull up this is this quarter's Canvas page, but let me pull up one that I did last fall, so you'll see what it looks like here. Fall 2022. So the way that I work here is I'm going to have various modules, and so the most important ones you're going to see are the lectures, homework assignments, and personal response questions. And so I'm going to make assignments. They'll be in here. This is last quarters. There were 9 assignments. Last fall quarters, 9 assignments. Personal response questions. There were 4 response questions. And there'll be lecture notes. And each lecture note, each week will have a page. So there'll be 7 or 8, 10, 12 pages in here. This lecture is going to be under the introduction. Then I've got week 1. if I have a different topic, for example, I'll have an exam review, prepare for the exam. I'll have on there the review of the exam, preparing for the final, things like that. So that's what it's going to look like. Currently, what you should be seeing is something like this. So all that's going to be available in Canvas right now is going to be the lecture notes. I haven't inserted the introduction yet because I'm recording it right now. Homework 1. I haven't posted personal response question 1. However, the personal response questions are going to be assigned approximately on a Wednesday, and then it'll be due, I think there's one due the week of the 10th, so that would be Wednesday the 12th. There'll be one due the 19th, etc. So every other week there'll be, and it's just to have you think a little bit about what's going on in the broader spectrum of this. So what you're going to find here is a lot of numbers. It's going to be a little bit different than some of your other engineering courses in the terms of there's going to be a lot of dollars and, dollars, economics type of things, but these are very, very, very important going forward in your personal life. So again, I've highlighted in yellow what I think are critical dates for you in this. This could change slightly, but I don't anticipate that it will change that much. So I look forward to hearing from you. If you have questions, you can send me an email, you can send me a text message, you can come by my office hour on Mondays in Building 4. But I hope to make this a fun quarter and a beneficial one for you both in your professional and personal lives.